Hi everyone, nice to hear you, nice to see you. It's such a pleasure to share our passion together. And yes, me too is from Australia, so thank you very much to to arrange the schedule in a way that we can speak in appropriate timing. So I'm gonna share the screen with you guys. So yeah, I'm happy to join you here today and to share my passion for fashion with you, right? I'm doing the fashion history research here at RMIT Australia, and honestly, fashion history research been my passion for so long, and like there is no any cities in the world I've been and I haven't visited the museum or the archives or collection or private collection. So I'm a fan. And at the moment I'm in Melbourne, and as a RMIT student, I'm doing PhD project. I cannot do without it. I have to acknowledge the land of the Boiwurrung and Boiwurrung people. That's what we do here, because we need to show our respect to the traditional owners of the land. And as a previous speaker told, we all do that, and it's really, really important here. So woman Jeka, guys, ladies and gentlemen, to my office tonight, which means welcome in the language of the local people. I already mentioned my passion for the fashion and design, and as a design practitioner and as a theorist and as a historian. And this image on the left shows myself and with among my PhD colleagues and my senior supervisor during the sort of pre-corona event during the Melbourne Fashion Week. So pre-corona event, and we are discussing the fashion futures. You can imagine that we haven't discussed anything which is related to this pandemic, which is really, really funny picture for me right now, because we were so bright, so smart, so many ideas, but in reality, nobody really expected these dramatic changes. So what had happened? There is so much of a discussion in professional communities today, but I would like to point at two works by one UK and one US sort of design historians. They established the Design Emergency Foundation. And I really like the idea, because in time of any crisis, it's extremely important to support each other. It's extremely valuable to document what is going on, to inform each other or the larger communities about new discoveries, to celebrate those who were blessed to create something extraordinary. That's what these ladies are doing. We are eager to help those who need support in terms of research by providing contacts, materials, information, advertisement, anything. And it's really good we have this conference in this matter. And of course, we need to design together for the common good. So I'm really, really recommending you to have a look at this Instagram profiles and just search for Design Emergency. You would be surprised how much have been done. So as for myself, I think that it's extremely important to start from small things, and to keep sane, you need to continue with your small ordinary duties, which is fashion research for me. So I wish I can do the groundbreaking projects which can save the humanity right now, but I think that what I can do is just continue doing what I've been doing before, and just doing better and share my experiences. So that's what I'm doing today. So normally, what do we do with a fashion history research? We go to archives, we go to collections, we collect, we examine, we touch. We have so much of social contacts, right? Which is completely impossible right now. Even with gloves or masks or any regime, it's impossible, because everything is in lockdown. Yes, some areas, some cities are slightly getting better, and some restrictions are sort of lifted, but no, you cannot conduct any face-to-face sort of research. What is the answer? The answer is the image-based fashion history research. Again, we cannot do tactile, we cannot touch the magazines, but we can research it through the images. So some people might ask, and they do honestly, image-based fashion research, is it new? Of course it is not new. The simple answer is No, no, no. Because we all remember these early travel diaries and exotic costumes travelers brought back from their voyages across everywhere to the Western educated world. And one of the coolest examples so far, and I'm really enjoying this. This is a little book on the right by very famous British art historian James Lavere, and his study of the fashion plates. It's tiny little book, very small number of publications, but it's unbelievable example of how we can conduct the fashion history research based on the images. And on the other side, you can see the screenshot from the website of pretty popular New York-based researcher Lev Manovich, who is doing the, basically they call it cultural analytics. He analyzed the very large image sort of data sets. And he also
Anna, sorry to interrupt you, but we see the first slide only all the time. Is it okay?
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, it's
okay.
not. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. Yeah.
Yeah. So for some
reason.
Can
you see now?
No, it's not moving. You just need to. There is this arrow.
Okay, let's do again. Sorry for that, guys.
Yeah. Now it's moving. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So this is the first slide. This is the second about Alice Rawsthorne and Paola Antonelli, about their fantastic projects. And this is just a few examples you can find through these profiles. About the research, no connection, no social interaction, only distance. We cannot do that. This is the image about the James Lavere on the right and Lev Manovich on the left. Yep. You can see now? So, yeah. How do we source the images? You know, the digitization of the archives is going broadly worldwide, and it goes slowly because of the nature of the project itself, but it's getting there. And I remember, like, first time I've been blessed to access the Vogue archive. It's been, I think, about 8 or 9 years ago, when WGSN promoted the new Vogue US digital archive, and you got it as a package, as a subscription, and you can go and actually look. And what was really good is the annotation of the images, so you can look at any subject you might be interested in. And it was such an empowering sort of tool. Right now, it's getting better, and it's not only the Vogue archive. There is so many. For example, one of the sources I'm using for my project is Australian Women's Weekly. It's very famous, very popular, like the top popular women's periodical in Australia. And it's completely, okay, let's say, the major part of it completely digitized, and it's really easy to access it through the National Library of Australia digital archives. So I recommend you to have a look what's around and search for different sort of archives which provide this sort of services. And of course, like we all know, these famous publishing houses like Bloomsbury and so on. So like it is possible to access a lot of information, and it's just there. So how we proceed with the images? We actually quantify the data, and very often my colleagues ask me, like, is it even possible to quantify fashion? Like, is it possible? And my personal answer is, of course, it's possible 100%. So many successful projects are out there to explore. One of the examples, which I'm really a big fan of, because it shows like the range of possibilities, it's run by Yale University, and it's the name you can see on the left, it's called Robots Reading Vogue. And it just shows like what sort of information you can extract from this valuable, not valuable data, because for a long time magazines were not a really respectful sort of information. And I'm so much like cheering for this, because the use of this source is so perspective, is so good. There's so much social cultural information. And on the other side, you can see the beauty of the raw data. So, which is really questionable. It's just a description, right? So it's just columns and rows and nothing interesting. But there is a lot of possibilities. And what is really the best is that working with data allows you to explore as backwards as well as predict, so study the future. So you may ask how we do proceed precisely. Here you can see several examples of how we can process the data. So the easiest way, of course, it's Microsoft products, Excel. A lot of people using them, and you can process it. It's a simple diagrams, simple tables. The second example is software Tableau. It's more advanced. It allows you to analyze better, predict better, make it easier, more visually pleasing. And the third example is how you can do it with the use of an AI, artificial intelligence. And the visualization is very, very sensitive. So you can basically talk to this system. Yeah, one more thing, how do we do this? And this is really, really important, because when I started my research, which is fully based on this sort of thing, is that I know how to do one specific thing. For example, I can do Excel, but of course I'm not a programmer. So it's extremely important to find a collaboration. And I learned a lot of new tools, but then I discovered collaboration. And I was very lucky to find a fantastic team of Italian researchers called Next Atlas. And they were able to help me with my case study, and they processed my very large number of images and identified the certain stylistic trends, which is fantastic, because not a single human touched these images. It was completely processed by the machine. Another interesting collaboration was done here in Australia, and one of the small companies, very like a forward thinking, they also feed my images to the beast, the machine, and the machine answered us with the prediction and with the trends, and it gave so much information for any like a social history researcher. And oh my God, for fashion historians, that's just a treasure, because there's so much to talk about. All these graphs, there is so much in it. So as a result, what do we get? We got valid and reliable data. That's what is the most important. So when we have the magazine, it's just a fashion magazine. What valuable can be there? But as a result, we got the valid data, which is really important. So the method of processing this data in this way gives us a really, really good result for our study area, right? So we can get the great visualization. We can correlate these graphs with some social and cultural events, whatever we are looking at. So it allows us to find really great things and support some of the very crazy or simply mad ideas, but that's how we can do it. So now, in terms of our pandemic situation, that's the time when we can learn something new, when we can explore. We have more time, luckily or unluckily. So this is the time to explore and have fun with this data. And my last slide is like that. So working from home is a new norm right now. It was impossible to imagine, especially in some communities, in some specific countries with some profession, that we can all just stay at home and work from home. It's just impossible. And archives, they are now literally at your fingerprints. If your fingertips, if you are keen to know something, it's so easy to find this information, to get an access to it. So basically, it's a new norm to be able to produce a very decent, very good research staying at home. So the only thing is necessary is that it's very new for all of us, and we need to learn a little bit how to search, or how to process the data, or how to collaborate about the data. And yeah, I think that's the best time to do it, because that's what we all have to do, and we have to be updated in terms of technology and how we can implement it to make our research practice more interesting and more advanced. So thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate your attention, and yes, I will be happy to answer some of your questions if I have time.
Thank you, Anna. Time, yes, we are very, we have run out of time, I'm afraid. We probably have just 1 quick minute for 1 quick comment or question, and then we have to move on. Colleagues, do we have quick questions or comments?
If anyone is interested, I can just at least share maybe the link to one of these cool projects. So, you know, just to get inspired, to have a look what's going on, it would be good, I guess.
Anna, that would be great. Can you do that on chat so that everyone can see it? And of course, we can later, get in touch with everyone because we have emails of each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we have hope. Yes, we have hope. Yes, with our
we do.
working from home.
Thank you.